Hey y'all, hey y'all. Happy Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us with the Real Nitty Gritty. I'm Tiffany L. Love, and this is.
Abdul speaks.
And so we're just going to give it to you like the realest as the real. What do y'all feel? I'm talking to some live members, Mr. Abdul Speaks, and I'm just kind of just wanting to get a feel out here about makeup. Makeup is something that usually particularly only women wear, but lately we've been seeing some men are wearing it, and usually those are covering perfections and things of that sort. But why do men kind of dislike a woman's makeup or when she wears makeup? And what does that really truly mean? I know a lot of men love to see a natural woman.
Well, that's a good question. So it's multifaceted, right? There's not one aspect, but the short answer is this: is really when a woman wears it when she meets a man, right? Mm-hmm. And then that man turns around and sees her without it, and he basically feels tricked, right? The used car salesman that puts this thick motor oil to hide the knocking and the pinging and everything. You get it home and it's not what you thought it was, right? Mm-hmm. So I know some women would say, well, you're supposed to like me for who I am. Well, there's probably a lot of people that he likes for who they are, but he doesn't choose to be in a relationship with them, right? There's probably plenty of women that are like, oh, she's a great person, but I wouldn't choose to be in a relationship with her. So with men putting as much stock as they do in the visual, when the visual isn't what he thought it was, then that's when the man feels like he's deceived. So now he's trying to figure out how much was he deceived? What was the deception level? Was it level 2 deception? Was it level 5 deception? Or was it just straight up witchcraft? And I think that's what we're looking at when it comes to the dating scene with men not liking makeup.
Okay, so tell me, what do you think is level 1, 2, and 5 in DEF CON levels, when it comes to women's makeup? So level 1 is, what does that look like to a man?
It's subject to the person, what they think really is subjective, right? But I will speak to when I was, like I talked to you before, when I was growing up. We didn't see a lot of makeup on women. We didn't see a lot of makeup in school. Most women didn't wear it at all. Like they would wear it to a special event. Right. You get your wife and she get all dolled up, or your girlfriend.
Right.
And she get dolled up for a special event. But when you met her as she was. Right.
Yeah.
And that's how it was when I was growing up in the 90s and stuff like that. For the most part, when you meet a person, that's just who they were. That's what they look like all the time. They just comb their hair and put some nice clothes on and put some moisturizer on. One big thing girls used to wear was lip gloss. So now with the YouTube tutorials and everything, everybody became a lot of women became very proficient in the art of, I say as a man, masking who they really are.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so...
it has developed and increased a lot lately.
Yeah. Because they got good at it.
Yeah.
And so when you could take a used, Buick with 300,000 miles on it and make it look like a daggone Lamborghini,
Well... so what I want to know is so back in the days, like 80s and 90s, right? Women wore maybe mascara and lip gloss.
Yes,
and
for
you
the
might
most part.
had a little bit of eyeshadow and the eyeliner, make your eyes pop and the whole nine.
Yeah.
And because back then foundation we didn't have the right colors. So women didn't wear makeup foundations because one, you're going to go to the club. Back in our days, we were Gen X, we was dancing in the club. So if you didn't sweat and didn't have your swag and sweat going on, makeup was in the wrong place to be, right?
Right.
So, and then we wore Jerry curls too on top of that. So we didn't need, the curls. But so tell me this, what do men say about, women that don't do it versus the ones who do it for just enhancements or just coverage?
So I mean, again, that's subjective. A woman's going to say every woman I know says she does it for enhancements. That's what she says. And whether she was, I hate to use the number system because it may seem, a little rank, but in someone else's opinion, if she was like level 3 beauty,
Right.
and then she went and did the little sorcery in the makeup in the bathroom, and she came out looking like a level 9 beauty. She's going to say, well, that was just an enhancement. No, that was straight up witchcraft. That was that was a magic trick, right? And so here's the interesting part about it. Studies have shown that 78% of men do disapprove of makeup. But they had to do studies in 2 different categories because one argument is, well, men do seem to like makeup. And the other argument is, no, men don't. So when you ask men, they don't like it. But when you put them to the test and put them to a choice test of random women, they're going to pick the ones with makeup. Well, that makes sense because we're not saying that makeup is not incapable of enhancing your beauty. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that makeup is incapable of making you look more attractive.
Okay.
We're saying that you looking more attractive is less than genuine to who you really are. And we're going to rate you and base you based on what we see without that makeup. Your standing with me is going to always be based on dry face. When somebody asks me, what does my woman look like or what does this woman look like? I'm going to base it based on dry face. I'm going to base it based on washing your face in the morning, putting some moisturizer on it and combing your natural hair. That's what I'm going to base the beauty of the woman is. That's what's internal to me. Everything else is not real. It's not a reality. So we don't see that as reality, no more than women would see in a reality if I decided to say, I'm going to put on this suit that makes me look 9 inches taller and buffed. And then I take the suit off and I'm 9 inches shorter and I'm not buffed, right? So even though you may say, I like the guy with that suit on while he has that suit on, and everybody that wears that suit got better pics with women, but when they found out and dated these people and they found out that those suits were just a source of trickery, then they're going to be very disappointed.
Okay. So I just did, I did a little bit of studying on this and, and coming from a person who does makeup herself. So, and I do a little bit of artistry, like especially from weddings and things of that sort. My question to you, or I should say, well, listen to these pros and cons, and I'm just going to go through them really quickly and just kind of tell me what your thoughts are on this too.
Sure.
So the pros is what they're saying is creative expression and confidence is number 1. The number 2 is professional and social advantage. And number 3 is ritual and self-care. So there is nothing really truly like, besides the social advantage that really points out to finding a mate or a male counterpart or a partner or a husband when it comes to makeup. Because I think truly deep down inside, you would want to see your woman without makeup, right?
Yeah, because I want to see what she really looks like.
Absolutely.
I want to see reality. I don't want to see a fantasy version of her. And when I was growing up, I could go back to my past and relationships, going back, I can go back decades, obviously. And I can remember women that I dated were very beautiful. And one in particular, I can remember her putting on makeup twice. We went out to some special event and she put on makeup. And she put on makeup. She looked beautiful. It did enhance her. I was like, wow, she's like a little bit even more beautiful. That was incredible, right? Like it didn't bother me in that setting because it was a one-time thing. Does that make sense? And I didn't feel deceived or anything like that because, I'd spent the last 205 days with her with absolutely no makeup. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't feel that level of deception, right? But today women are wearing it every day and there's a battle in the man's mind. He's literally trying to find out what his woman looks like. He's literally trying to find out if that's what he bought. Is he cool with it? Is this the best it gets? Where are we? Where are we with the situation, right? And so I would caution women because on one hand, you can, according to the scientist, attract more men and enhance your beauty, right? That's on one hand. You can attract more men and enhance your beauty. I would caution you because the men that you are attracting are not necessarily attracted to your natural beauty and are less likely to stick around in the long run. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to attract 12 guys, right? Or do I want to attract 2 guys who are genuinely the type of guy that's actually attracted to me, right? That's going to be attracted to me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think if I was a woman being pragmatic, I wouldn't want the 12 guys to be attracted to me. I'd be more concerned with reeling in those 2 guys that saw me for who I was and was cool to the brim with who I was.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
And so that is a ideal thing, and maybe that might be the case for like the younger generations where they're looking for that attention from guys. But in most cases, women are just kind of covering up certain kind of flaws. Like I wear to cover up my hyperpigmentation,
Sure.
which is something that's a genetic deposit of extra melanin into a particular pore.
Sure.
And it scars
Sure.
and it bruises and the whole nine. So the coloration comes off darker than my normal skin. So my and so if I go out in the sun, it's going to pick it up.
Right.
So let me ask you this question. What is wrong with women wanting to enhance their beauty?
You know, again, are you enhancing it with natural means or are you enhancing it with something artificial? That's the question. So we can look at the psychology of it both ways. Obviously, when you go online and research it, you won't research some of the books that I've read about it, right? It's the psychological books that are read about it because online is always manipulated by corporate interest, right? So the online, most of everything that you research online about makeup is going to give you a lot of positive exchanges about it because they're going to tell you, it enhances your self-esteem, this, that, and the other, right? But the flip side of it, there's a long written psychology about wearing masks, right? You see masks in tribal cultures and things like that, and they used to put warriors in masks. Masks actually change people's behavior patterns. It's amazing. You can become fearless from wearing a mask. You can become psychotic from wearing a mask. You could become all types of things from putting that mask on every day. So it's having a psychological effect on the individual. The other point I want to point out is everything is not always so black and white, right?
Right.
It's like if a guy says, well, I like a woman with natural hair, then if you say, well, if your woman was suffering from chemotherapy and all of her hair fell out, would you prefer her to go out bald-headed or wear a wig? And he'd probably say, yeah, I get it, I would wear a wig. It's just like I say, if I got into a car wreck and my face was severely damaged, would I get plastic surgery? The answer is yes. But notwithstanding that, I want to own up to my natural self. By default, my thing is to go natural. And there's something for the character that's built by having blemishes. There's something for adjusting oneself to one's own reality, right? If I work hard and I develop myself to be, say, an NBA player, right? It's different than if I just wake up in the morning and pretend that I'm an NBA player and fake people out like I'm an NBA player because I didn't put in the work, right? And if I don't put in the work, then I've cheated myself out of the process. I've cheated myself out of the humility that went into my craft, right? And I think a lot of times what happens is we wear these masks to get these particular results, but we don't see the result, the flip side of it, which is we're not comfortable in our own skin. We didn't learn how to be comfortable in our own skin. We didn't learn how to see the world with a flaw, with a freckle, with a pimple, with a scar, with a blemish. And there's something humbling about that. And the humility behind that is what I think is a lot of times what's missing in people in the world today. And I would argue that men would say those levels of humility are a lot of times missing in women.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so there are some women who have issues with it because of hormonal imbalance, right? Women who find themselves, like in some of the things that I saw in here for the cons. They say, a lot of men say that the liar or the false advertising paradox kind of happens, and then also the financial and time burden is the second reason for the cons on women wearing makeup. And the third reason is reinforcement of patriarchal standards. So when it comes to those three different types of cons, is it, the patriarchal standards sometimes is, has a thing of, you don't need it, don't wear it, is not for you. Or, you can't wear makeup. I remember my parents telling me I couldn't wear makeup until I got 16 or something like that. And I still didn't even wear makeup then because I had acne.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you don't want to put something else additional on because of hormonal
Right.
reasons. But when it comes to like women who can't seem to get that hormonal balance or that genetic characteristic to kind of, stop pushing so much of whatever it is, whether it's acne, psoriasis. What do you feel about that?
Well, again, if I have some kind of real abnormality, right, then I don't think I don't think I'm qualified to speak on that because I don't have one. I haven't lived with one. Nobody in my family had one. I will say that I think if I had an extreme abnormality, that I would try to cover it up.
Okay.
Right. I just me personally, if it was something severe and abnormal, acne, I had bad acne as a teenager.
You did too?
Bad acne as a teenager.
Yeah.
And, I look back and I'm glad I had it, because again, life puts you in balance. Right. And,
Yeah.
and maybe my behavior would have been a little different. Maybe I would have been a little more cocky or arrogant if I was this debonair and good looking the whole time. Could you imagine, in high school? So I had to grow into it. I always felt like I was nice looking, but I was conscious about the acne.
Yeah.
But you need to go through that. And when you cheat yourself out of some of these experiences, you're cheating yourself out of your growth, right? And your development of your personality and your character. And right now we have a lot of people, they have this thing out now called a bad B. I won't even say it, right?
Yeah, the baddies. Let's just do that.
And their personality really expresses in many cases that exact terminology. And we see them as that terminology expresses them. Bad, not a good word, right?
Right.
And so I don't want the younger generation to identify as bad bees. I want to see them identify as good, beautiful women and ladies, right? Good, beautiful women and ladies, and I always say that, if I went on top of a mountain and looked over the forest, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But a porcelain doll can be pretty. And I don't think anybody should exchange their beauty to be pretty, to be so perfect. Right? Which is not perfect. It's an illusion. It's an illusion that our face needs to be silky smooth. It's an illusion that we need to hide the fact that we're older.
Yeah. Some women do that for that reason.
Yeah. And I get it. Like I get the temptation. I get why women would be hooked. Women are going to be, men are more into visual of a woman than a woman is of a man. That's number one. They say patriarchal standards. I don't know if I buy patriarchy as a whole, even as a word, because usually you have to divide up the different cultures of whether you're talking about Western culture, European culture, African culture, different men that have ruled different regions are going to have totally different expectations and requirements, right? But when you go places where women are not hyper concerned about their looks in public and aren't treated like Western women, the first thing that the women come out of their mouths when you talk to them is they say they feel free. When women go to those places, they feel free. Look, they're not concerned to spend 3 hours on their hair and 2 hours on they're free. They're getting education. They're raising their families. They're getting exercise. A lot of them don't have weight problems. They have all of these things because they're not putting the time, money, and resources into what somebody else's thinks.
Right.
Right? And to me, if women really are saying that they're not doing all of these things to attract a man, then we have to see that that is actually, in many ways, more psychologically damning than if they were. Like what's going on in our head? What imaginary friends, what imaginary life, what imaginary cameras are on you that would make you invest an hour of your day, 2 hours of your day, and tens of dollars out of your pocket to accomplish this particular goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be somewhat dangerous, if you will, because it is we're finding a lot of makeup and beauty products are starting to come out with a lot of chemicals that are, they're not natural, or they're being tested on animals and things of that sort. But I want to point out the top 3 Black beauty products that are out here. Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. She launched this back in 2017. Then there's Pattern Beauty by Tracy Ellis Ross, which is Diana Ross's daughter, with the Pattern Curl. She has the product called the Pattern Curl, the pattern which for hair. And then you also have the Lip Bar, which we've seen on the Shark Tank. Where those young ladies were called cockroaches at that particular time, when now they're $1 billion industry. But when it comes to women of color, what I'm finding is that they tend to wear less amount of makeup when they're in a relationship than when they aren't. When they're dating, they tend to wear more vibrant colors. They tend to be more. So we do have a somewhat of a, I should say, catch-22, if you will, for a man to be attracted to that young lady. But when it comes to the catfish side, what does that mean to a man? When you see one woman here, and then it's not what you saw when she stood in front of you.
Excuse me. Well, it's almost always the case now. Because, again, most everybody is wearing at least one layer of makeup, right? So it's always the case. Whether they got one layer or 5 layers on, it's almost always the case.
Right.
And I would say that, using my analogy, do you want to have these 12 guys approach you? Do you want to have these 2 guys approach you? Right? Most of us, especially in our young mind, we want the 12, right? But we don't realize that that's self-defeating. You're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You're trying to find a needle in a haystack, and what you're doing is you're adding more hay and less needles, right?
Right.
So that's one point that I have to make about it. The other point is that if you're going to go down this path, know what it entails. If people talk to me about, why do these guys ghost me, this, that, and the other, right? I'm not saying it's the cure to being ghost, but I guarantee you'll get ghost less.
Okay.
Right? Because at one point you have deceived someone into something that wasn't real, right? And here's my thing. And this is what I find. And this is really because, I have daughters and granddaughters now, right? So if a woman, a young lady, could spend half as much time trying to attract men with a vibrant personality and a soft, beautiful tone and controlled her tone and pitch, I guarantee you she'll get a lot further than with her looks. The problem, what I find, especially in our community, is our women want to have a hands-off approach to dating. They want to show up and God's supposed to send them someone out of the sky.
Right.
And I don't know why they don't have this thought process for getting groceries. I don't know why they don't have this thought process for getting a job. They know that they can't get a job out of the sky. They know they got to go out and fill out applications. They know that they don't get groceries out of the sky. If they're not calling Uber, they're going to the grocery store. So why doesn't it work for a man, right? So they want to sit themselves up only to be physically attractive and don't want to do the work to having the personality, right? So personality development, tone development, pitch development, all of that is part of your beauty. The way you walk, your grace, exercise, eat healthy. I guarantee you, if you exercise, ate healthy, and did all of those things, I guarantee you, I could take these women that I'm talking about that are 4s and they'll come in with a dry face and take a man from a woman that's an 8 or a 9. They will.
Wow.
They will.
So it's more about wearing her confidence, it sounds like.
Yeah. Are you playing the long game or the short game?
Yeah.
In the long game, trying to attract men who are also interested in the long game. Even a man that's not interested in the long game can be easily convinced to be in the long game. Because if he's out here in these streets, he knows that he's not really getting a woman for himself. People are running around here in relationships and lonely as I don't know what. Men are the last to communicate with that. Women are the last to know that, they've been in a relationship, they dropped out of a relationship, they still don't know why this guy shut off. The guy's not going to tell you. A lot of times they can't articulate it. A lot of times that guy is lonely in that room with you, right? Because that woman may not be giving him what he needs. And a lot of times that's simply just a woman. That's a personality. Being beautiful and pretty and not having anything to say, nothing to talk about, no encouragement, no soft, subtle smiles, none of that is so porcelain dollish. It's not
Being stoic and
it's
cold and
yeah, and a lot of them, they may not be mean or anything, but I think they put so much into their beauty. And here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it that is addictive. It gets results. I'm not saying that it doesn't get results. I'm not saying that way doesn't get results. It gets tremendous results. It just doesn't get the results that you want.
okay.
Right? It's like me going into all of these interviews saying that I'm a doctor from Harvard. Then I go to all of the interviews and they find out I'm not a doctor from Harvard.
Right.
Versus me going to an interview and saying, hey, I want to work hard and box in the boxing section and work my way up into management. You think you're doing something because you spent a few days working in the hospital as a doctor. Look, I got my first check for $3,000 or $5,000 this week or whatever it is, $10,000 this week. That guy that's boxing and working his way up into the manager position over the long game is going to make more money than you're going to make.
Okay.
You're going to spend all of your wheels chasing interviews, trying to get that one $10,000 week before somebody finds out that it's just a farce. It's not reality, right? The other thing that's not reality is a person's estimation of themselves. If the person is putting so much time into making themselves beauty, then you can't tell me that beauty isn't important to that person. I can rate how important beauty is to a woman by how much time and emphasis she puts on it, right? And if beauty is that important to you, then that woman's estimation of herself is not necessarily what that guy's estimation for himself is. Because every guy, I'm telling you, naturally, I'm going to say 98%, their rating of you is not going to be when you're dolled up with makeup and wigs on. Their rating of you is going to be when you're walking around the house before you've attempted to do that. That's going to be their rating. And if you can't deal with that because you think you're supposed to be this fabulous, fabuloso so-and-so, then there is a difference, right? There is a disagreement between the two value systems of your beauty. You think it's up here and he thinks it's down here. Why? Because every time you go outside, everybody validates to you that your beauty is up here because they only see you with your makeup. But he sees you without it, so he sees you right here. What you need to do is accept that this is where your beauty is and be cool with that. God didn't make you to be the prettiest person on earth.
Absolutely.
That's not
we know
what
that.
that's not the, women they want to be beautiful, but that shouldn't be the end all be all. That shouldn't be as high of a consumption as it is today.
Okay. So women use makeup as a tool, in most cases, and I'm just speaking as a collective, and where makeup is, like I told you, is to camouflage or to correct or to enhance a feature, like their eyes or their lips, and then of course the conformity versus rebellion. So when we see women who usually tend to kind of do makeup in the US, is finding that the clean girl look is actually the highest rating so far.
Oh yeah.
So it's like she has the clear face. She has the aesthetic glow. This is the most dominant standard in the United States. And then there's the laminated and the fluffy girls, right? So you have, whereas the overdrawn brow or, all of that stuff is kind of feathered and brushed as if it was laminated, right? So that is the second standard that is going, but it's also coming with a low maintenance attitude, if that makes sense. Because it's not the bright and the flashy or anything like that, but almost kind of like a latte. You have different shades of the browns and the ivories and the shimmers. So women are starting to actually tone down their makeup lately, versus what we see on televisions versus with the celebrities. Celebrities tend to kind of go big and bold, right? But in the world collectively as a woman, we're finding that they're softening their makeup approach versus what it was back in the, let's say, 80s, 90s, where blue eyeshadow and pink rouge and Cyndi Lauper,
Yeah. And, even when you go back to that time period, to be honest with you, there was a difference between what celebrities did and what common people did.
You're right.
Today, there's no difference between what celebrities do and what common people do.
Yeah.
Right? So we weren't, when you saw makeup like that, 9 out of 10, it was, I would say more than that, more than 9 out of 10, it was on a celebrity. People didn't walk down the street. See, our women wasn't tricked. You go to the fashion show, you see these people wearing these shower curtains and these football these weird outfits. Our women was not confused that was an act, that was not something that you wore down the street. Now women seem to be confused, right?
Okay.
And here's the thing. You can have all of your girly magazines, all of your girl talk, this, that, and the other, right? There's strength in numbers, right? And so the girls get together with themselves. They read girl magazines. They watch girls fashion, right? And they do all of these things with girls and their gay friends, right? And they say, oh, you go girl, right? But they never ask the guys. I have a news flash for you.
Right.
49% of the population is male. You can't get around it. 49% of the population is male, right? And so if 49% of the population is telling you that it's 78% of that 49% doesn't like it at all, And the ones that do accept it, they only accept it if it's unnoticeable. That's what makes them accept it.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying, they can't even notice that you're wearing it.
Yeah.
Right? Guys don't want to see makeup on your face. They don't
Right.
want to see anything that doesn't look real. They want to see the natural thing. So if you're going to trick them, at least trick them well. At least trick them into thinking that it was real. Don't come in with this fake stuff that I see all of the time. And we're looking at you from 10 feet out and we're like, that's not,
Right.
that didn't grow on you. That's not the color of your lips. That's not the color of your cheeks. For us, all we can see is, and I'm going to break down and speak for most guys, and correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm speaking for most guys and I'm wrong, correct me. But I think if you get in the comments, most guys are going to agree. We see it as clown syndrome. That somehow some psychologists have convinced our women that going outside looking like clowns is okay. Because
So
it looks
women-
clownish.
So a woman who wears a lot of makeup, you call it a clown syndrome?
Clown always sites, they're clowns. It's a clown costume. It's clowns.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to your mind is that you're looking at a clown. You don't have to say that with spite.
Right.
You don't have to say that with malice. But that's what comes to your mind. You have empathy for people, but we feel like psychologically they've been tricked into clown syndrome.
Wow.
Because I can look at you and tell that it's not real.
This is my last question. My last question, because we have so much time. If you see that as a clown syndrome, so if, say for instance, a woman is out in the club and she's dolled up, she's got her eyeliner done on, her mascara on, her eyebrows
They
are
don't do
done.
mascara now. They do them big fluffy velvet
No, we ain't talking about the big
in
old.
the in the mix. It's Mr. Snuffleupagus. Oh, look at Mr. Snuffleupagus lashes.
Now that I can see as the clown syndrome. I can agree with you on
It's
that
all.
one because I am not a.
We go into the
snuffleupagus.
hair, the yarn, the red yarn, the hair, the Rapunzel hair. It just looks. It's like, come on now, you didn't trick anybody. We know that's not you.
Right.
We know it's not you.
Right.
If we know it's not you, then you're not even trying properly. So whatever tips that they're giving you in your girly girl classes and your gay friend classes, whatever tips they're giving you, they're leading you astray. Men are not, like you said, you're not doing it for men because you didn't ask a man. This might be one of 10 interviews where they asked a guy, right? So 49% of the page population, we didn't get asked because they're not doing any of this for us. We know that they're not doing it for us because if they asked us, they would not do it. They'd be like signing off, Revlon signing out. You understand what I'm saying? So we know they are telling the truth when they say they're not doing it for us. You, amen, sister. Clearly you didn't do that for us.
Okay, so, well, thank you for answering that question. Oh my goodness. So yes, I understand the clown syndrome where she's just out there wholeheartedly out in the ballpark, the snuffleupagus lashes.
The whole thing, the 5 colors,
The 5
sparklers,
colors,
everything. This
the glitters,
it's
the
just
diamonds,
whatever.
And some women do it for self-expression, just for themselves. But clearly you could tell they're most likely.
If I had a friend and his wife was a runway model and she put all of that stuff on, I'd say that was a performance.
A performance?
Yeah, but you can be a clown in a performance. You could be anything. You could be a alien. You could be a clown. You know what I'm saying? You ever see them girls walk around with the daggone, the ear, what's the kid that walked around with the house on his head? Will Smith's son walked. That's his performance. So I get the performance. So I'm okay with it. I'm a performer. I get it. I'm a performer. I've been on stage. I get performance.
We get it.
I get makeup and
and
performance.
you have to get makeup because that's entertainment. That's the
I
arts.
didn't get makeup, but yeah, I
you
get
know
it.
what I mean.
But I'm just saying, I get it. I get it. But when I'm walking down, if you see me at Fry's and I got this whole weird thing, that's come on, man. The art of being a human. We're losing it.
Wow.
The art of being a human, we're losing it.
Just simply being.
Just simply being human, being fine with that. We've got to be all these grandiose things. This is I wouldn't call the people narcissists, but this is a part of narcissism. It's grandiose thinking. Nobody is cool just being a human being. I sit out in the backyard and I enjoy my backyard as a human being. The backyard isn't spectacularly special, and there's nothing I have to do to be spectacularly special to appreciate it.
Right.
All I have to do is be a human. I can have a conversation with somebody and meet a friend. I don't have to tell them this grandiose story. All I have to do, most of the time, you know me, I'm the quiet one. I don't say anything till someone starts talking. Then I take over the conversation and I'll talk for hours. But most of the time, people come to me. I was sitting in the back trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
But most people can't enjoy anymore just being a human being. So we're seeing this psychosis transfer into our women. And what I always speak of is, unfortunately, whatever goes into the woman goes into the man. Because she is going to be the caretakers and the birth canal for the next generation of men and women.
Right.
So whatever psychosis that she develops through the decades, we're going to start seeing it in the boys and girls.
Which is true.
Right? But you see the shift over time. I've lived long enough to see the shift over time. And I'm telling you, I don't like the personality that went with this over consumption and this over concern with your appearance outside of its natural realm. I don't like the personality. The personality matches the technique, if you will. Right? Let's just be human. Let's be ourselves. You be my sister. Let me be your brother. Be the aunties. You know, everybody wants to be a grandma. What? I got to get on. No, be a grandma. You earned that.
I know, right?
I'm a grandfather, grandpa. I'm not no grand. See, you're trying to escape something and you don't even know the beauty of what it is that you've achieved. First of all, you've lived long enough to be a grandfather, which kudos to you, because I know people who haven't lived that long.
Yeah, there are a lot of people. You're right.
And you've raised your children enough to at least that you get to see a grandkid. I mean, don't run from that. Don't sugarcoat that. What are you trying not to do?
Right.
You earn that. You relish in that. There's nothing bigger than grand. I was a father, now I'm a grandfather. That's a great title. You was a mother, now you're a grandmother.
Yes.
That's the mother of mothers.
Yes.
Man, you can't make up a term better than that.
Yeah.
What are we running from? And if you look good at 45, 55, 60, you just look good, grandma.
Absolutely.
But you're still a grandma.
You somebody's grandma.
Let's embrace that. Let's be
and your legacy.
Let's be humans first.
Amen.
Let's not be superstars. Let's not be celebrities. And let's not be billionaires. Let's not be jet setters. Let's not be highly intellectuals. Let's not be educated. Let's just be human.
Okay.
And put in the work and you can get all these other things. But first, day to day, people to people, just be yourself, be a human being.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Abdul Speaks. That was really, really good. Very comical in a sense. I've learned a few isms that you have once again taught us.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening and plugging in with us here on the Real Nitty Gritty. I am Tiffany Love.
I'm Abdul Speaks. And guess what? I love you if nobody else do, but it's not easy loving you.
Yeah.
If you thought loving the people was going to be an easy job, you're going to quit on it because people will get mad at you. They'll say you don't like them. I heard all of this stuff from my children when you try to correct them. Oh, you don't like me. You got this favorite. You got that. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. No, I'm looking out for you. I'm going to tell you what's uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you what other people neglected. Somebody neglected to tell you these things. Don't think that I was the only one thinking it. Don't think that I was the only two thinking it. It's a host of people thinking it, but they're not going to run it for themselves because you sisters carry a lot of weight. Men act like chameleons around women. Let me repeat that. Men act like chameleons around women.
Men act like
Chameleons around women. So you don't get to hear what men think. A lot of you say, well, I got a lot of male friends and this, that, and the other. No, you don't. No, you don't. You've never sat in a room with men the way I have. That's impossible. Because as soon as you come in the room changes.
Oh, yeah, the conversation changes.
As soon as you come in the room changes.
Yeah.
And the prettier you are, the more the room changes.
Yeah.
So you don't get to hear the earnest, bare bones thought processes of being like I've had been able to enjoy my whole life, unfiltered and unfettered.
Okay. Well, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please subscribe, comment, share, repost this. We appreciate everyone who
appreciate your likes and your subscriptions. We appreciate all of that.
Yeah, we do.
Keep it up. We're moving forward, and we want to keep being able to put this message out. Y'all have a good one. I appreciate you all.
Awesome. Have a good night.